What's up, hockey fans? Welcome back to another video from Triple D Hockey. The NHL All-Star Game is right around the corner, so we thought it'd be fun to go back and relive some of the best moments from past All-Star Games. In its earlier form, the All-Star Game featured the defending Stanley Cup champs against the League All-Stars. While the game itself has recently lost some of its luster compared to years past, some of these moments were truly special. Before we dive in, help us out and hit that subscribe button below, and don't forget to check us out on social media too. Now let's go! The fifth All-Star Game in 1951 was a tight and chippy affair that ended in a 2-2 tie. The format was different than in the past, as the league used first and second team All-Stars as the cores of each team. The league touted the new format as the Dream Team, with the best of the best pitted against each other, but were also worried that the Toronto market wouldn't respond due to the lack of some of the usual local players participating. According to some accounts, the hockey was excellent, along with some intense feistiness generated by both teams. As battles erupted throughout the game, the most notable was between Gordie, Howe, and Rocket Richard. They were in constant battles against each other, and in the third period even fought. Yes, two legends actually fought in an All-Star Game. That seemed to be the highlight of the game though, as critics weren't pleased about the tie and only 4 total goals were scored. The 2003 All-Star Game had a handful of stars missing due to injury, but still had the usual fireworks that these games often bring. Danny Heatley came into his first All-Star Game as a second-year player and sure put on a show. The sharpshooter was playing for the Atlanta Thrashers at the time and was known for his speed and scoring ability, tallying 372 goals and almost 800 points in his career. The then 22-year-old scored 4 goals and added an assist, while also converting on his shootout attempt, earning himself the game's MVP. Unfortunately, the West also scored 3 times to the East once in the shootout to win the game 6-5. Scoring his 4th goal, Heatley joined the company of Wayne Gretzky, Lemieux, Vincent Damphousse, and Mike Gardner as the only players to score 4 goals in an All-Star Game. At the 1980 All-Star Game in Detroit, Gordie Howe received one of the greatest spontaneous ovations ever given at a sporting event when he stepped onto the ice at Joe Louis Arena. At this point, Howe was 52 years old and about to play in his 23rd and final NHL All-Star Game, when he was the last player introduced and received a 4-minute standing ovation while fans chanted his name. It was Mr. Hockey's first All-Star Game as a member of a team other than the Red Wings, but the Red Wings faithful showed their appreciation for one of the greatest players to ever play. Howe didn't score in the game, but he did set up the final goal in the Wales Conference win. The game also signaled a changing of the guard in the league, as the game also featured a 19-year-old phenom named Wayne Gretzky, who, as we know, would go on to break many of Gordie Howe's records. The 1998 All-Star Game was the NHL's first time experimenting with the North America vs. the World format. The game itself featured the usual high scoring of an All-Star Game, with the World All-Stars opening up a 3-0 lead. In the end, the North American All-Stars rallied back from the deficit, staging the largest comeback in NHL All-Star Game history, beating the World 8-7. The game obviously wasn't without heroics, as the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim winger Teemu Selanne recorded a hat-trick to become the first European player named All-Star Game MVP. He was also the first player from the losing side to be named MVP since Grant Fuhr in the 1986. The 1997 All-Star Game was held in San Jose, with the East defeating the West 11-7. Owen Nolan played over 1,200 NHL games in his career and scored almost 900 points, but he may be best known for this one single play in this game. Nolan went toe-to-toe with Mark Recchi, both scoring 3 times, with Nolan scoring twice in the span of 8 seconds, but his 3rd goal of the game is what brought the house down. As he received a pass and closed in on a breakaway against the Sabres' Dominik Hasek, he famously took his hand off his stick and pointed to the top corner, a la Babe Ruth calling his shot. He fired his shot right in the spot he pointed, erupting the crowd and allowing hats to rain down on the ice. The 45th All-Star Game, held in Madison Square Garden in 1994, was the first game after the NHL rebranded the event. It was also the game Mike Richter put on a dazzling display in goal for the Eastern All-Stars. Richter was having a career season with the Rangers and played the second period, stopping a whopping 19 of 21 shots, including 3 breakaways by the Russian rocket Pavel Bure. The East would come from behind and win the game, with Mike Richter continuing his amazing season by winning game MVP. What's more, later on in the season, Richter again stopped Bure on a penalty shot, but this time it was in the Stanley Cup Final, which was won by the Rangers. The 38th All-Star Game, held in Hartford in 1986, included some of the best to ever play in Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, and Ray Bourque, but it was the Edmonton Oilers goaltender Grant Fuhr that stole the show. Fuhr had a great career, making 5 different All-Star games in the 80s and garnering a reputation as the best clutch goaltender of his era for his multiple playoff successes. You rarely see shutout hockey at an All-Star game, but that's exactly what Fuhr did in his time in the game. He blanked Lemieux, Mike Bossy, and the rest of the Wales Conference team, making 15 saves in the first period, earning himself MVP. At this time, Fuhr was only the 4th goalie to win game MVP, but it was the Wales Conference team that came back and ended up winning the game in overtime. The 2001 All-Star Game that was held in Denver saw at the time the highest scoring game ever, as Team North America beat the world 14-12. It also featured the North American All-Stars finally beating their world counterparts for the first time at the skills competition. The 2001 game also featured the return of Mario Lemieux after his 3.5-year retirement. Lemieux notched a goal and an assist in his 9th All-Star game, giving him 22 career All-Star Game points, second only to Wayne Gretzky's 25. But the highlight of the game was Bill Guerin, Tony Amonte, and Doug Weight North American line, which combined for 13 points, and netting Guerin MVP of the game in his first All-Star game, scoring 3 goals and 2 assists. The 46th All-Star Game was held in 1996 in Boston. This was Ray Bourque's 15th consecutive trip to the All-Star Game, while appearing in 19 total. Every year the game was played during his career. He also won the accuracy shooting skills competition 8 different times, but not this year as Mark Messier took the title. In the game, however, the East beat the West in a lower scoring affair, winning 5-4 on a very late third period goal by the local himself, Ray Bourque, igniting the hometown crowd into a frenzy. Bourque would go on to win game MVP honors as the latest in a growing list of players to step up while playing in front of their home crowd. The 35th All-Star Game held in 1983 in New York featured a close game until the third period, with the Campbell Conference All-Stars beating the Wales Conference 9-3. In the third period, things just went crazy, as Wayne Gretzky decided to turn things up a bit and score 4 goals in a span of about 13 minutes. His Oilers linemate Mark Messier assisted on 3 of those goals and set the NHL All-Star record for most assists in a period. Gretzky's 4-goal performance unsurprisingly netted him his first All-Star Game MVP, as he was the first player to score 4 goals in a game. This was after he set the NHL record for goals, assists, and points in the season prior. The 39th All-Star Game in 1988 in St. Louis is widely regarded as the greatest All-Star performance in NHL history, as 4th-year star Mario Lemieux put up 3 goals and 3 assists, factoring in on all 6 of the Wales Conference goals, including the overtime winner, in beating the Campbell Conference 6-5. The Penguins captain broke the previous record for most points in an All-Star game, held by 6 different players, while Mats Naslund recorded assists on all 3 of his goals and added 2 more to set an All-Star record for most assists in a game. Naturally, Lemieux would win MVP honors, which was the second time in 3 years for him to win the award. This is the season when people started to recognize that, hey, this guy is really good, maybe as good as Gretzky. The next season, Lemieux almost hit the 200-point mark for the season, and 2 years after this game, he would go on to record just the second 4-goal game in All-Star Game history. And there we have it, hockey fans, some of the top moments in NHL All-Star Game history. Along the way, there's also been some fun moments at the skills competition, like Zdeno Chara's 2012 hardest shot or Dylan Larkin's 2016 performance in the fastest skater competition. With this year's game coming up, here's to hoping for many more of these iconic moments. As always, do us a solid and hit that subscribe button, but don't forget to also give us a like and follow us on social media. And remember, it's a great day for hockey.